In my reading of the Koran, I was always struck by this passage at the end of our reading here, uh, verses 64 through 66. We should get a clue from readings like this that Islam believes itself in a deep relationship with Judaism and Christianity. It believes itself part of the same tradition, and I'm sure in a complicated way, and I'm not going to pretend to know, but there's mention here of people from the Old Testament and from the New Testament, and there seems to be a kind of a community of religions, and I am struck by the ending here, this notion of people of the book say, "Oh, people of the book, come to terms between us and you." And by people of the book, I don't know. I mean, is the book the Quran? Probably. Is the book the Bible, the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament, the Gospels? I think so. I think all of those things are the book, or all people who take those books to be their sacred books are the people of the book that's meant here. I don't know. That's how I see it. O people of the book, come to terms between us and you, that we worship none but God, and that we associate nothing with him, and that none of us takes others as lords besides God. And if they turn away, say, bear witness that we have submitted. Suppose it's, I always took the passage to mean that Christian Jews and Muslims were really part of the same group, and that what they needed to do is sort of come to terms between themselves about what they believed. And this is a suggestion, that, what is it that's common between us, that we worship none but God, and that God is the God of Abraham, right? The God of the Old Testament, God of the New Testament, God of the Quran are all the same God. That there's no need for difference between them, between Muslims, Jews, and Christians, because they all worship the same God. They don't take any other gods before them, and they have submitted. They've submitted their wills to God. So it's a kind of a reaching across the aisle, or an attempt to unify, I guess. Really, it's kind of quite astounding. Notion of people of the book. Oh, people of the book, why do you argue about Abraham when the Torah and the gospel were not revealed until after him? Will you not reason? Here you argue about things you know, but why do you argue about things you do not know? God knows, and you do not know. That is this sort of, I don't know, kind of a call for acceptance, that arguing about the meaning of the gospel, or arguing about the meaning of the books of the Old Testament, just those sort of things that we do in our class, that should all be put aside, and there should just be a commonality of belief. Listen, we all believe in the same God. We've all submitted our will to God, and that's how we are supposed to identify ourselves. So there's no need for dissension. There's no need for discussion and argument and attempts to interpret. It's all there. It should all be simple.